Teaching Sanjie Dao, one element at a time.
Thanks for watching our Sanjie Dao Phase 1 4B class session. In today's event, we basically going to cover just the trapping. That's our close range, empty hand trapping. Now, trapping is a very general term. I could define it in many different ways. We can also trap with the weapon. We can trap emotion with the weapon. But I'll explain to you basically what the trap in Sanjie Dao is. And we're going to focus particularly in two areas. One is going to be the parries, the particular parries that are against the jab and cross. Another one, we're going to do some sensitivity drill. I'm going to have Simu come in here. So we're going to go over the parries against a jab and cross. Now, basically the trap, the word trap in English, T-R-A-P, you are, if I would define it in a general term, is basically I'm stopping emotion. I'm not talking about hand trap or body or whatever. I'm talking about the word trap in the context of Sanjie Dao. It's basically I'm stopping emotion at some point. I'm intercepting the motion and I'm stopping it, and then on top of it I am maintaining it. I'm not grabbing it necessarily, because that will be considered grappling or grabbing. But trapping is I'm trapping it so it doesn't move, particularly in the motion that it was traveling in the beginning, and I can trap it or I can stop it at that motion for a very fraction of a time. Again, this is trap, not grab. There's a difference between grab and a trap. And let me demo this as I'm discussing this. So I'm going to have Simu come in. Okay. So as an example, what is a trap? Let's say Simu give me a cross. Okay. So I'm give me a cross again. I'm going to stop this with this motion, which we're going to go over in a second. So it's diverted from my face. Now, that's not necessarily a trap, but let's say give me a cross again. This is a trap, okay? So this is basically I'm stopping it coming toward me in that angle. Now, that doesn't mean that Simu cannot swing out and hit me, go around and give me a hook in this case, you know. So give me here again. So let's say you do that to me, you trap my jab here, you trap my jab. That doesn't mean freeze, that doesn't mean I cannot go around and violate this angle and then just go around and bypass it and hit the target. But trapping at that motion is basically the way I define it. Secondly, so this is what I call air trap, meaning let's say you give me a back fist with the front hand here. So I'm trapping this again, back fist, bang, I'm trapping it in this motion. Now, I may be able to trap this not necessarily in the air, I may trap it earlier, or I may trap it in a different angle, which will be pinned against the body. This is what I call body trap, versus you hit back fist, this is what I call air trap. Motion that is traveling in the air. Now in this case, we're talking about hand. We have foot trap, we have body trap. When I'm talking about foot, any part of our, so you could say any part of our hip all the way down to our feet. Body trap is the entire trunk of the body, and a hand trap, any part of our shoulder, arm from the shoulder to the tip of our finger. So the trifold body part motion, as I explained this before, in this same principle that we're discussing today. So trap, air trap, body trap. By the way, I've written this. There's a section on the Sanjie Dao, the fundamental book that I describe and explain basically what I'm talking about. This is what I just demoed right now. So parry. So I define parry. I call it brother, sister, cousin. Parry and Tong San Bangsa, those three are palm up and wing. Those are actually the Jiangfan with the root of Wing Chun of our art, but they have different modification. Of course, there's different position in Sanjie Dao, but basically that's what parry is. parry to me is a deflection. So when I'm saying parry, let's say against a jab, I'm parrying this jab, go nice and slow so they can see. I'm deflecting this, but I'm not sticking to it. It's gone, okay? So this jab is basically thrown away from its path, but I'm not touching it anymore. If I would touch it after I parry, go, this is what we call check, or in this case, trap. So this is actually maintenance check, meaning I'm maintaining it or slash trapping it in its path. So it's not going to come back and hit me. By the way, another particular of trap is, let's get in a little bit closer toward me here. Another particular of the trap is that, deflection or trap or parry is, it's against me, meaning my center is the reference point, my center to center. As the jab comes in, okay, if I'm going to maintain it, I'm not going to maintain it over or under or maybe in the front. What's wrong with these pictures? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? It's because the line that is toward my body is open. It can come and hit me. It could come and hit me below. It could come and hit me in between. So when I'm parrying it and I'm maintaining or trapping it, I have to trap it with my center of my body reference point in consideration, and where the opponent is. My center is going to change as I move. You see that? Now this is no longer, if I give me a jab, yeah, if I'm static here in this case, okay, this is applicable, but this is no longer applicable. Why is that? Because now Simu can elbow me right in between, hit me. You see? But if I haven't moved, if my center of my reference point to the center of the target or opponent, in this case the partner, is right in the front, that center, I have to work with that straight line center. Now, I'm not talking about triangle, because we can work with the triangle. Let's say give me a jab, okay, I can come in and hit, work my triangle motion, but the core of our trapping is a straight line, center line. And I have to watch for that. I have to watch where the hit is. So these are some of the finer points as when you start working with the trapping and parrying, you have to really consider these, because if your hand, again jab, if your hand is off, this is no good, because now my center is open. You see, the center toward my body is open, particularly when this tool, biological tool is, what we call hand, is protecting me. If it's not protecting me this way or in any fashion that is, in line with my center reference point, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna get hit from, with this hand. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna get hit with a foot or with a cross, but I'm talking about the element that was coming at me and what I'm doing against this offensive element using defense, in this case defense, and maintaining this defense by check or parry or a trap. I'm sorry, but first I parry it, a jab, let's give me a jab. Okay, I'm parrying it and I'm checking it. Now, that doesn't mean you always need to check. I could go ahead and then just get out of the line of attack that I don't have to maintain it or keep it trapped. But if we're working with the trap and we're staying in this close range, I have to keep it trapped until I counter, until I resort to the next plan B, plan C, what I'm going to do. So enough of philosophy, but these concepts are actually extremely important as you watch us, because it's hard for you to be here, physically feel what we're doing. So I can describe it only by language and words and description and concepts, so that you keep that in mind as you're training, follow with those concepts and principles, so that you could get it down in a correct way and learn it the right way. Okay, so we want to work with inside and outside. So I've talked about in previous sessions, we have an inside here and we have an outside here. So if you hold both your hands in the front toward me, So this is, to my reference, for me, I look at the Simu, this is her inside, okay? And as soon as I get here, starting from here, I'm her outside. This is with the hand, and of course it goes down. Now here, what am I, in or out? I'm somewhere in between. But my reference point basically is the lead hand to the lead foot, head to toe, because she's lethal. She can hit me with the foot. She can hit me with the knee. Okay, I cannot just say yes. I can't just say I can discount her feet. Okay, I know we're maybe a little bit outside of the video here, but I don't really care about to emphasize the waist below. Today's lesson is pretty much waist above, one lead only and not moving. But just to mention that what is the inside will constitute the when we're talking about a lead is the front hand. It could be a left hand or right. In this case, a right hand and front foot. Whatever that's inside of this box, I have to avoid because it's dangerous. Or if I'm getting in there, if I'm inside the opponent, in this case, if I'm defensive, switching roles, I have to avoid. I have to be careful because that's coming into my inside zone, and that's where my four vital part of my body is: head, the throat, heart, and the groin. So jab. So we're gonna work on parry. This is what I call. Let's angle here a little bit so you could see me. This is what we call cross parry. Crossing, I've discussed this before, cross against in my body. So when I'm getting a jab, I'm outside. So as the jab coming, by the way, we get in the zone by putting a palm there, and then by touching elbow to elbow. Now we're right in a smack of the close range, okay? So when the jab come in, I can parry. This is what we call outside parry, okay? Outside, so I'm outside parrying, but I'm inside cross parrying. So from Simu's reference point, I'm her outside, but when I'm describing what kind of a parry am I executing, that's my inside cross parry, okay, on her outside. So there's an inside, outside. So my inside, that's an outside. So we're doing cross parry here, this way, jab, jab, go slower a little bit. It's a deflection. So jab is coming, I'm deflecting it, okay. Notice I'm not doing any kind of maintaining or trapping. Against the same line of attack on the cross, you notice this hand here, my inside cross parry against the cross punch as it comes. In our case, if we were close range, if we're upper square, let's say Simu's upper square lead, it doesn't become rear and front. It becomes right jab and left jab, okay? But I use cross and jab, it's okay. Eventually we're going to go upper waist square so that we can understand the equation between the right and left as to how symmetrical they are. So jab coming, okay, I'm cross parrying, outside cross parrying, but it's my inside outside cross parrying. Cross coming, I'm doing the same thing except my inside cross parrying is that I'm inside of Simu's zone. Jab, I'm outside of her zone, I'm inside of her zone. These are complementary parry elements. Complementary parry. The same parry I do against the jab, I do against the cross. Against the jab, cross. Except I'm outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. You see that? I'm out. Freeze, hit jab, I'm out. Hit cross and freeze, I'm in. I'm inside. Now, what if I go reverse it? I want to go inside of against the jab. So as the jab come in, freeze, the jab and freeze here. I want to go inside. So I fan this is what I call fanning. I fan my hand earlier before the blow comes close to my face. So I fan it inside. Now I'm doing this cross parry against the jab, but I'm inside. You see that? See how that works? I want to just do a cross parry. How do I do cross parry against the jab? How do I do cross parries against the jab but to stay inside? How do I do cross parry against the jab to stay outside? to stay inside, stay outside. You see that? How the hand fanning works? You fan the hand. It's what I call fanning, and you parry it against a jab. You don't need to fan anything. You are who you are. You just, as it's coming, you're taking it. But as it's coming, you want to go inside, you fan it, and there's a tiny bit of a twist lead, upper waist twisted, so the whole body twists, upper waist left lead, lower waist right lead, to be able to accommodate this lead. Can I cross parry with my lead hand without twisting? Yes, but that is a totally a different parry, meaning against a jab. Then that's completely a different parry. But what I want to do is I want to be inside parry, not outside parry. You see that? Inside parry meaning I'm twisting my body, so I'm executing all the parry within my inside zone. Inside zone. Okay? So against the jab, outside, against the jab, inside. Against the cross, inside, against the cross, outside. Against the jab, inside, against the cross, outside. You see this is the same thing? Go. Jab, cross, except I don't keep my hand there. I always go back to neutral. So let's say against the jab, boom, I go back to neutral. Against the cross, boom, back to neutral. Against the jab, against the cross, against the jab, against the cross, against the jab, boom, against the cross. You see that? I fan, parry, come back. Now we add the second element, which is what I call check or trap. So jab, now I can keep it, maintain it, trap it. You see, for my follow-up. I do that for a reason. I don't just do it just because it feels good to hold opponent's hand. These movements are microsecond movement. You know, you're not going to be feeding, go 1, 2, okay, all right, let me see what I'm going to do, what the opponent's going to do. We're talking practicality here. I don't teach forms because I don't believe in forms the forms can be very good exercise, but their patternized motion to me is a lot more practical to take these elements and put them to use and keep practicing them, as opposed to just take one element and just keep it as a pattern and practice it. And, that's not Sanjay Dhawan. That's not the way JKD was, and that I continue that fashion because that to me is the most practical way of training. You do it dynamically, you do it alive, as opposed to that pattern. Or, I'm not trying to knock down form, because I know forms are very good disciplinary type of exercises that people learn. But in reality, what if you're facing someone that's outside of that pattern? Let's say you learn all the forms in your particular style, but you face someone that has a skill that is outside of that pattern. That's going to be very difficult to utilize the elements of the form or any parts of the form. That's why we do not practice form. We practice based on the reality, but the difference between Sanjay Dhawan and JKD is scientific. We do it scientific by explanation, but what they mean, what the purpose of the elements are, and why we're doing what we're doing. Continue with this real quick. So against the jab, I can parry and check. Against the cross, parry and check. Now check is already the check is already the opposite hand. So against the jab again, I parry with the rear, I check with the front. Say again, 1, 2. Now again, remember the principle. I don't go over or under. Check or trap has to be based on my center line of my body. Okay, let's move here a little bit. Against the cross, parry and check. Against the jab, switch. Now I fanned it, I parried it, now I'm taking it over with the opposite hand, okay? Just like I did with the outside, I'm doing it with the inside. Against the cross, outside, parry, so I'm outside parrying, but I'm twisted lead, so, cross parrying, check. So watch these routine go. The way you practice it is basically you go jab, cross, out, in. Jab, cross, out, in. Jab, cross, in, out. Jab, cross, in, out. Let's see. So we go jab, okay? So you see that out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. I'm adding the check or the trap hand there. Jab, okay, and I add the check hand there, cross, but I have to bring my hand back into neutral. For the other one, I didn't need to because I'm already in a neutral. No twisting required. So cross, let's go jab here, bam, go, okay, cross, okay, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. You see that? Practicing in, out of the jab, the cross, in, out of the cross jab with both hands, okay? Parry check, maintaining it, or parry trap. That's basically, that's the cross, that's the basically cross parry or the rear cross parry. Whether I do it with my rear hand or I'm doing a twisted lead, now this becomes my rear hand. So either full lead or twisted lead, either I go against the jab outside, cross in, or against the jab in, cross out. Okay, that's parry and check, parry and trap. Okay?